So George, I hear that NOMANG has some new transmission upgrades, including a Transbrake.
Yes. So as you can see, I let go of the foot, we're moving, yeah? So we're in gear. Transbrake on, release the foot, we're not moving, okay?
Yep, I can see that.
Now, boost RPM.
That's a mint. So a lot of people said you were mad for sticking with the ZF. And it looks like we've made some decent progress.
Still mad for doing that. Could have put a glide in it and be done with it. Something that we sort of said under our breath, you know, we didn't take too much seriousness about has actually, come about now, and we're finally here.
What are we looking at here on the screen?
Okay, so as most will remember, the last episode we discussed about running a standalone controller to control the ZF. The beauty of this controller is that not only does it give us the ability to do what we want to do with the Transbrake side of things, but it gives us the flexibility to actually design and write a shift and firmness tune for the transmission. So in a sense, it's software to tune the box, right? The other beauty of this whole concept is that now, and this is probably something I want to look a bit more into, is that being a standalone transmission, we can start putting this behind any engine, the ZF behind any engine, yeah?
Yes, yes.
So I'd really like to see how it would go behind, say, an LS, and even maybe like, turboed V6 stuff that we do. I reckon that would be pretty cool. Or anything along the lines, even an old school car, something with an old 350 Chev, put a 6-speed auto behind it now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The beauty of this controller is it works both for EFI and carbide cars. It has that flexibility.
So in the past, you had to use basically a Ford computer.
Well, if you wanted to, but then that doesn't make it any easier anyway, So this is, in a sense, the standalone ability that we've been looking for to give us that flexibility of obviously adjusting the tune. So in the process now that we're doing with this setup is we're designing, because it also has a self-learning ability, the software or the controller does. So we're actually in the process of adapting the tune to suit the ZF, the standard ZF more than anything. So the firmness and the shift timing and all that stuff, we're still in that learning process at the moment. So we'll go for a drive after and I'll show you exactly sort of what we need to do. So, but the software here is quite flexible. So this in effect here is our shift patterns for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the bold lines here are the upshift, and the dotted lines are the downshift. Yeah, so you can see here there's a lot of input coming from the transmission, and then we've got that's wide open throttle on the TPS. It's got an RPM input, has a speedo output, all the traction, all the torque converter lockup stuff. We can adjust to. We can turn that on whenever we want. But this is the cool thing that we worked with the guys at US Shift to get this happening, right? Now, beforehand, when you wanted to use this computer for this, because it's designed for the 6R80s, right? They were the only 4 options that you had. You had a relatively standard one, over 900, and then there's different levels of 6R80 transmissions that this worked for. Now we have ZF6HP26. That's us.
Yeah.
We got this happening, right? So this is the game changer for the ZF. Obviously there's some mechanical side of things that need to be done to make all this operate, but we've already done that. So we're at the process where it's done. So as you can see, the software is unreal. And the support we get from US Shift for this stuff is really good. The guys there have been so good with us. There's been some delay obviously in time difference. You might wait a day or two for some resolve, but whatever we ask for, we get with these guys.
So is that linked to this?
Yes, correct. Yeah, so that's connected to there now. So that has some options on the controller that we haven't got on the software, like a self-learning issues and stuff like that, which you've got to do through the controller. But again, you've got trans temperature, you've got gear indicator, you've got speed. See that little one with the folded edge on, like a page? That's map number. So you can actually have 4 different maps, and you can turn that on and off as you please. You can, on the fly, you can switch over from map to map, which is really, really cool.
So you've got a few options here, George.
Yeah. Depending on the gear sets, you can change gear set differences if you're running, either 6R80 or 6R75 transmission gear ratios. TPS calibration, how you want certain things to work with the TPS, setting idle, setting wide open throttle, speed sensing, putting axle ratios and tyre diameters and stuff like that. Two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive option for, maybe even the guys with territories. Yeah. Different shifting options. Here you go, the multi-tune. So you've got different tables. So you've got 4 different tables, which you can do through the controller. Torque converter, lockup. There's a heap of options for torque converter lockup. Okay. Yeah. So.
And that's becoming more common these days.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really good. The Manutronic stuff, so you can set up push buttons instead of having the shifter. If you wanted paddle shift, yeah. So you can set that up. We're still trying to set up the manual shift through the shifter for us here. So we're working on that at the moment. You can remove first gear.
Yep.
On an upshift, so we can launch in second gear if we want, without having to always be in second. We don't have to upshift into first. Speedo output, we need to work on that to get our dash working. A couple of miscellaneous stuff here, and then display settings and bits and pieces. So it's pretty comprehensive options, or settings at least, that gives us the ability. And obviously, I don't want to muck around with it too much, but I can pick this up here and move it as I want.
Mm-hmm.
At 30% throttle, my 3/4 upshift, I've got at 29 mile an hour, it's mile an hour based, and 750 RPM. I can raise that as I please, you know what I mean? And it can change the way that the car drives, shifts and everything. So
it's a bit like controlling an electronic throttle, how you can have different settings. This console's looking pretty damn good. Yeah, so we finally trimmed it up. It was a work in progress, but yeah, the guys at B&B Leather, done a really, really nice job setting this up for us. So it's looking really nice. It's a lot neater. It's come a long way since our first prototype, hasn't it?
That was horrific.
I think the shifter was sitting up here somewhere.
It was like somewhere up here from memory. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, that's come up really good.
Yeah, it looks nice. So you can see we've got live data now coming in from RPM and it's got, gear selection and temperature, trans temperature. Yep. It tells you when it goes into lockup as well on the controller too, so when you're in lockup mode. You can almost feel it, it's really good. So yeah, it works well. Mm-hmm. And I guess we can take it outside and maybe do a bit of a Transbrake.
Cannot wait to hear that, George.
Well, to tell you the truth, I get enough boost to open the screamer up, so...
Really?
Yeah. I can get 25 pounds on the Transbrake. Yeah, it's... I don't know how much the box... Well, I'm not releasing the Transbrake as such.
Well, that was another thing. You're doing this testing on the
standard box.
Stock standard tired box, yeah. So there's no point in doing all this on a built box.
No, I want...
Until it's all sorted.
Until it's all sorted, yeah. And I'm not far off. We're talking with the guys at US Shift. They're very happy with the progress that we're making. We're not far off finalising the tune-up as such. We've worked through the 20-30% shifts, the 50% shifts. They want me to start doing some 70-80% shifts and then onto wide open throttle. So it's just been, the weather's been horrid lately for us to be doing that on the road. So I might do some on the dyno as well just to be safe. But yeah, the way that the unit operates has been flawless. And the problems that we thought we were going to encounter, I wasn't too technically aware of it, but the guys at US Shift, the main thing they were concerned about is probably the one thing that's actually hasn't given us any grief at all. So, and that was the fear of using this controller in a ZF package. So it's managed to work out to our favour. So it's been really good. Yeah. So we're on a really, really good path with this thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get it outside.
Let's get outside. We'll go for a little cruise. Yeah. Done. Beautiful,
yeah, beautiful.
It drives like a normal car, man.
Yeah,
it's so nice. And we're still fine-tuning it, do you know what I mean? We'll get this thing we'll get this thing really nice by the time we finish with it. And it's a tune that we were able to save. And then when we want to sell this unit, we can put that into it. Do you know what I mean? So doing the testing on a stock box in this car is no problem. And you can see here on the gear indicator, it's telling us what gear we're in and speed. Tops 90s wipers, mate. See how nice the shifts are on the low cruise stuff? It's beautiful, man. It feels like a stock car, man. It's nice. But then if we wanted to increase the throttle, try Transbrake. So as you can see, I let go of the foot, we're moving, yeah? So we're in gear. Transbrake on, release the foot, we're not moving, okay?
Yep, see that.
Now, boost RPM.
That's a mint.
So no brake. And then release, and we're driving again.
Yep.
That's it. It's done. It works. We know that works. So, obviously, I think the time would be wise now to build a box, which we're doing.
So the Transbrake working mint, as we just saw, it's time for a new box, isn't it?
Well, I don't want to go tempting fate and wasting everyone's time if it drops its guts on the start line. So I thought that the right thing to do would obviously get the box built first. So at least we can give it that abuse that we want, because we've almost finished the testing phase with this box as such. So once we finalise that tune-up, then we can, start racing it. So I thought the right thing to do would be build the box. The guys from Blue Streak in WA are giving us a few of their billet parts for the ZF. The guys at DSR Performance are building us one of their banger packages. So,
Banger ZF.
Banger ZF, man. So yeah, not 2K Barra anymore, but banger ZF. So it's so we've got a good box coming. How the rear end's going to deal with it, I don't know. Again, are we wasting our time going with a stock box with a stock diff? I think we'll try it. We'll do some soft launches, but obviously we've started getting ready for the rear end side of things too.
So we will run it with the fact that that turbo that's
I'll leave engine and turbo as it is.
As it is, just with a good box.
With a good box. We'll put the good box in it, see if we can run a good number with our stock diff.
Yep.
Then we'll upgrade that turbo, which we've been waiting to do. And then that's the toss up whether we go out again with the stock diff again, which it should be okay, but depends how serious we launch. Otherwise, we'll look at doing the rear end and the associated.
You got to play it by ear, don't you?
Yeah, well, it's one of the. You can't plan this stuff out, unfortunately. No, otherwise, it becomes a big build early, and then we just start going out then. But I'd rather just do it in stages so we can get a bit of racing and enjoy it at the same time too. Yeah. So.
And with that in mind, I see there's some.
There's some upgrades.
New parts sitting here on the
we're ready to finally. We're. Well, you're not letting me put this on yet. I've been hanging to put this on.
No, that's not going on.
Hey,
that's not going on.
Well, not yet. Anyway.
Not yet.
Yeah, we've had a Pulsar Turbo, a 3584, supplied to us by Michael at Dominator Motorsports Australia. As everyone knows, we use his engine parts and we sell his stuff online too. So he's been a great help. Gave us a good deal on a Pulsar Turbo. We were going to take time in fitting this, but I think now's the time to do it. Haltech have jumped on board as well, and I was talking to Scotty about the car and he wanted me to fit one of the units in, which we were going to eventually do anyway. At the same time, Crow cams, we're waiting for a set of cams to come from Crow as well. They've given us a set of camshafts too, so I figured I'll do the cams and the ECU at the same time. It just makes the tuning process a lot easier.
Yep.
So
what you're saying is, this is evolving into a 3K Barra.
Yeah. Is that the new meme, is it? We're going up to 3K, are we, slowly? Yeah, no, look, so we've got the right stuff there. And Raceworks, again, the guys at Premier supplying us with some new fuel system parts, mainly just the tank and lines and some fittings. Because one of the biggest dramas I've had with the dash conversion has been the sender unit for the gauge, for the fuel level gauge. So there is an aftermarket unit which works with the Ford system, so we're going to try that first.
So being a Barra on our 85, the fuel gauge is kind of important. So you need to know.
It's let me down a couple of times, let me tell you.
You've got all of probably 100 kilometres range on the tank. You need to know where you are.
Because the other dilemma is too, I don't have the buttons to reset the trip computer.
Oh, okay.
Because they're hidden behind the cluster. So I can never reset to figure out my distance. It's always taking mental notes of the kilometres on the cluster. And my memory is shocking. So I'm always, I've copped it a couple of times.
So why
been stranded? Why go to this?
No, why can't you get it? What's the deal? Like, why can't you get it to work? What's the short?
The short of it is that the range, the ohmage range of this cluster, the dash, is a large range. I think it's 0 to 1,000 ohms, whereas the sender unit in the VS is 0 to 90. So it's not only progressively one way, it's largely the other way as well. The guys at Canberra did supply me with a fuel level unit which was supposed to work with that, but the range is too large. If I move to the aftermarket unit with that unit that I have there, it's probably more has more ability to be calibrated, or at least closer to calibration.
But one other reason going to the cell, obviously long term, full race car spec, is that if you want to upgrade the rear end,
which we're doing,
which will happen at some point, we're going to have to put a cell in it anyway.
100%, because we need the room at the back. I need the room at the back for parachute mounts. I'll probably do a track locator, whether I do it facing backwards, I'm not sure yet, but I would rather that room there. Coilover shocks as well. So the end goal is to have that, Pro Street.
Well, a lot of these mods, you're kind of doing mods knowing that they may not be really used for 6 months, 12 months, but there's no point in doing things 3 times.
100%, mostly with our time ability, with having time available to work on our own cars. So we've got a decent amount of mods to do, but at the same time I do want to take it in stages, and if something needs to be done or will get done, might as well do it now.
It's got the baffle in it?
Yeah, they're baffled, so they don't have the foam anymore, they've got the baffle.
Wasn't there issues with that foam breaking down?
Breaking up and ending up in pumps and filters and shit. Nice.
George. Where'd you get that t-shirt?
You finally noticed. These are available on our website. My website, not yours. Let me sell some t-shirts for once. ProFlowFab.com. Jump into the merchandise section and Project NOMANG stuff's there, man. Hoodies and t-shirts. I don't know how the cams with the stock turbo is going to go.
Hang on, so we're going to have Haltech, cams, killer box with a stock turbo.
That's your doing, mind you. I've been busting your balls to fit this, and you've been pulling the
everyone else does it the other way, don't they?
100%. Everyone starts up top and works the other way, but we've gone, we're taking it progressively, But no, I've been busting your balls to fit this thing. You're like, no, you got to run.
No, I think I always wanted to see what the car would run with a stock turbo.
But you're going to make me look like the idiot, because we're going to have a cammed killer box Transbrake car with a stock turbo running 10s. Like, we're going to look like idiots, but it's for the sake of the experiment, I guess. But until then, until we can put that on, well, that's the best that we're going to do. Look, maybe with the Transbrake and the stock turbo, we might get those 60s down enough to go faster at the end.
Well, if you bring it to the track, you just fit it between.
We probably could,
fit it between runs.
In between runs, I probably could do that. But no, look, it's part of the process, I guess. So it's what we've wanted to do. See how far we go with the stock turbo, and it is what it is. And we know we've got that next ready to go, so we'll give that a try, I guess.
All right, until next time.
Until next time, you know exactly what to do, mate.
No, man. How bad is that?
I love it, man. It's tacky as. It's as tacky as an 80s mattress commercial.